Today, we are getting into a really powerful book by Brianna Wiest called The Mountain Is You, and it's all built around this one fascinating idea. What if the biggest obstacle in your life wasn't something out there in the world, but something inside you? And what if you could learn to turn that obstacle into your greatest path forward?
This quote right here, this is the core of it all. We all have a mountain, that one huge thing that seems to be standing between who we are right now and the life we really want. But what if that mountain isn't a job, or a person, or a situation? What if it's something else entirely? I mean, come on, we've all been there, right? You know exactly what you should be doing. The goal is clear, it's right in front of you. But for some reason, you just hit the brakes, or you swerve at the last second. Well, understanding that frustrating feeling is exactly what we're going to unpack today. So what does it really mean to feel stuck? According to Wiest, we spend a lot of time looking for external reasons, blaming our circumstances or other people. But the real obstacle, the real reason we're stuck, isn't out there. It's the mountain inside each of us.
And this is where the idea gets really interesting. Your mountain is born from an inner civil war. You've got your conscious mind, the part of you that's cheering, yes, let's do this, let's go for that new life. And then you've got your unconscious mind, which is yanking the emergency brake, trying to keep you safe right where you are in familiar territory. This distinction is absolutely crucial. Look, circumstantial problems, a flat tire, a tough project at work, that's just life. That's stuff happening to you. But when you find yourself running into the exact same problem over and over and over again, that's a pattern. That's a sign the problem isn't the situation. The problem is the mountain. It's you.
So, this leads us to the million-dollar question. Why on earth do we self-sabotage? Well, the answer is probably not what you think. It has nothing to do with weakness or not wanting success badly enough.
This is a total game changer. We beat ourselves up thinking our self-sabotage comes from a place of self-hatred or a lack of willpower. But Wiest flips that on its head. She argues it's actually a misguided attempt by our subconscious to protect us. It's trying to meet some deep unmet need in the only way it knows how, even if that way is destructive.
So where does this come from? Well, it boils down to these things right here. We're basically running on old, outdated software. We have these fears we've never actually stopped to question. These old stories about who we are and what we're capable of. And our brain has a deep primal resistance to anything unfamiliar, because to our ancient wiring, unfamiliar equals unsafe.
This leads to a brilliant concept called the upper limit. Just think of it like a thermostat for joy and success. We all have a subconscious setting for how much good stuff we're comfortable with. And when life gets too good, when we exceed that setting, an alarm goes off, and we'll often do something to sabotage the situation just to get back to a more familiar, normal emotional temperature.
Okay, so if our self-sabotage is really a message, how in the world do we decode it? Well, this is where our triggers, those things that set us off and cause those big emotional reactions, they become our greatest teachers. They aren't roadblocks, they're signposts. This is how we can start to translate our feelings. So for instance, instead of seeing anger as just pure aggression, what if you saw it as a signal that one of your boundaries has been violated? Or jealousy, instead of letting it turn into judgment of someone else, what if you saw it as a bright, flashing arrow pointing directly at something you deeply desire for yourself?
You see, our emotional pain isn't just random static. It's actually a map. This quote says it all. The idea is that the trigger is the thing that illuminates the wound you've been carrying. And once you see the wound, it will show you the exact path you need to walk to heal and grow.
All right, we understand the mountain. We've started to decode the messages. So how do we actually start the climb? Let's get into the practical, hands-on tools for making real change. This whole thing starts with what you could call emotional hygiene. Instead of just letting painful feelings pile up and fester, we learn to process them with this simple, three-step framework. First, get crystal clear on what actually happened. Second, and this is huge, validate your feelings. It is okay to feel how you feel. And third, decide on a course correction for the future. So often, we get stuck waiting for that one big cinematic moment, That lightning strike breakthrough where everything clicks, and suddenly, changing is easy.
But that's a total myth. Real, lasting, meaningful change almost never happens like that. It happens through the micro shift. It's the tiny, consistent, almost invisible adjustments you make every single day. It's choosing the salad one time. It's writing one sentence. These little shifts compound over time into a completely new reality.
And this might be the most critical lesson in the entire book. We have to learn to disconnect our actions from our feelings. Why? Because our feelings are wired for one thing: comfort, not growth. You will almost never feel like doing the hard, important thing, so you have to learn to act based on your vision, not your mood.
And this brings us to the final, and honestly, the most exciting part of the whole journey. This isn't just about conquering your past. It's about actively, consciously building your future. Think about it. You can't just grit your teeth and force yourself to let go of something. It just doesn't work that way. The real way you move on is by creating a future that is so compelling, so exciting, so immersive that the past simply starts to fade into the background. You're just too busy living.
This quote completely reframes the fear of change. We think of it as a loss, but it's not. It's about shedding a skin that just doesn't fit anymore. You're not actually losing anything that was meant for the person you are becoming.
And there it is, the ultimate truth of this entire journey. The struggle was never really about conquering some external challenge. It was always, always about developing self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and finally, self-mastery.
So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. If you were to truly face your mountain, not as an enemy to be defeated, but as a path to becoming who you're meant to be, what incredible version of you is waiting at the summit?